Timothy Cardinal Dolan in New York, reacting to the death of Pope Francis just moments ago.
But we also offer gratitude to God for the gift that he was. We don't call it Holy Father for nothing. He's the father of our family. And there's a death in the family. And we're saddened.
So it was interesting, too, because he was on our couch on Friday talking about the Pope. This is leaders from around the world share their sadness over the loss. Meanwhile, as we look at almost every world leader that I could think of has weighed in this morning. And think about J.D. Vance. He was there yesterday, and there you're seeing this video on Sunday, Easter Sunday. And people talked about, well, it was a 5-minute meeting. Then you realize how he could have been suffering at that moment just for because of the problems he's had breathing. And, of course, he had passed away early this morning. Now let's bring in White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Karoline, great to see you. Your thoughts that might have been relayed to you. Do you have any chance to talk to the Vice President about his last meeting with the Pope?
I spoke to the Vice President's team this morning, and they expressed how excited and grateful they were for the opportunity to have met with the Pope just yesterday. And of course, we know the Pope has gone to be with the Lord this morning, and I spoke to the President about that as well. And he has put out a statement to say, God bless the Pope and all those who loved him. He touched millions of lives throughout his tenure as the head of the Catholic Church. And so it's a solemn day for Catholics around the world, and we are praying for all those who loved the Pope and believed in him.
Caroline, absolutely. And we were shocked to find out in the morning. And obviously, we changed the format significantly for this Titanic news event. But the one thing that is happening is Easter Monday traditionally is an Easter egg roll at the White House. Melania is going to be there. It's always great to see the First Lady. So members of the cabinet are going to be there. I don't think you're going to need a giant man dressed in a rabbit outfit to direct the president on where to walk. That'll be a little different from past years. But also, I think it's significant. You're going to have a corporate feeling to this in a way, correct? Corporations are taking part in this.
Well, that's actually always been the case, Brian. It's just that the legacy media has picked up on it now because it's the Trump White House and they criticize everything we do. This is going to be a traditional Easter egg roll. The First Lady has overseen the careful coordination of this event alongside the United States Secret Service and the National Park Service as well. And the President and First Lady will be welcoming thousands of people to the White House South Lawn today to roll the eggs, but also to partake in many other celebrations and festivities. So it's a joyous day for families who are traveling from all around the country to celebrate Easter Monday with the President and the First Lady. And you'll be hearing from both of them later this afternoon.
All right. I didn't actually take it as a negative. I think when corporations are helping out a children's event, I think it's a positive. But Caroline, let's talk about what's happening with this Kilmar Garcia. He is over in El Salvador, and evidently the senator did every Sunday show, Van Hollen did every Sunday show to make sure everyone knows that he is okay. Watch.
Who did pay for this trip?
This was an officially cleared, congressional trip, cleared on a bipartisan basis. Yes, like every other trip like the trip Kristi Noem took with her fashion show before CCOT, like the trip that 5 Republican members of the House took, like the day before when they went into CCOT. I can tell you, so yes, it was an official trip.
Right. That was an official trip. I don't know if any more will follow. What do you think people should know about the person that Senator Van Hollen visited?
They should know the truth about this man. He is an illegal alien, a foreign terrorist, and a criminal MS-13 gang member who violated our country's laws by coming here in the first place. And shame on Senator Chris Van Hollen and the entire Democrat Party, who wasted Easter Sunday going on every television show in the country to advocate for the return of an illegal criminal gang member. There is a litany of evidence proving this individual's ties to MS-13 that has been confirmed in 2 different courts. There have been multiple law enforcement officers who have affirmed his MS-13 gang affiliation, and this is who the Democrat Party is advocating for. It is ridiculous. The president, this White House, the entire administration will continue to focus on deporting these illegal alien gang members and criminals from our nation's interior and enforcing our country's immigration laws. That's what the president was reelected to do. And I would add that the overwhelming majority of Americans continue to support the deportation of illegal criminals. A recent CBS poll showed that 89% of the American people support deporting illegal criminals from our homeland. So the president will continue to do that while Democrats continue to trip over themselves, while ignoring American citizens whose lives have been forever impacted by the actions and the crimes of these illegal criminals, like Patty Morin, who we were so honored to have at the White House to share her daughter's story just last week. Senator Van Hollen has never called her, has never reached out to her family, yet he has spent hours now fawning over this illegal alien who is tied to a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American citizens. It's unbelievable.
I was disappointed that no one even broke out the field interview with the gang unit that interviewed him out when he was arrested originally, was taken into custody. They said he had the tattoos. He's wearing the Chicago Bulls hat. They had an informant who they still trust, said that he even had a ranking within MS-13. They never talked about the trafficking case, that for some reason no luggage going from Texas to Maryland. We don't know what he was doing for a living to allow him to sustain living there. Senator Kennedy did come out and say, yeah, this guy looks like a really bad guy, but the administration made a mistake sending him to El Salvador. Do you feel that way?
We did not make a mistake. We have always maintained that this was an individual who needed to be deported from our country. The president swore to the American public he was going to deport illegal criminals, and especially those who have been involved in violent gangs like MS-13 that have terrorized American communities. And so to the Democrat Party, who thinks that they are going to bring this foreign terrorist back to the United States of America to live a peaceful and happy life, that is never going to happen. Not only is this an MS-13 gang member, but he is also an illegal alien who broke our nation's laws to come here. And not only is it a slap in the face to the American citizens whose lives who have been put in danger or in many cases lost at the hands of these illegal alien criminal gang members, but it's also a slap in the face to the millions of legal immigrants who came to our country the right way, waited their turn, and paid their dues. We have a legal immigration system for a reason. The president is going to continue to uphold that.
It's very hard for me to play devil's advocate with this story because I feel passionate that he does not belong here, but I do try. I want to end with this. Front page of the New York Times, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth back in the news about staffers had to be dismissed and a second signal chat that took place. Where's the president stand on this?
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
Karoline, I also think it's important to bring up that this chat happened before confirmation. While confirmation was taking place, and also it just is kind of very curious for me. They're not interested in what these people were leaking, which seems serious. They're interested in the Secretary of Defense, who wasn't.
That's right. They are lying about the Secretary of Defense. Let me reiterate, no classified information was shared in these chats. But you do have leakers who are leaking classified information, which is a crime, I will add. And so the administration and the president have taken a very strong stance against anyone who leaks, especially sensitive and classified information that can put our troops and our warfighters at risk. And you've seen the secretary has taken very strong action to rein in the leakers at the Pentagon, and he will continue to do so, I'm sure.
Right. Absolutely. Thanks so much, Karoline. Great to see you today. And I know how intense everything is, but try to have a good time at the Easter egg roll. I appreciate you joining us. Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.